very day I train my daughter how to handle a firearm. I also teach her how to draw fuel from a gas tank, and I make her secretly practice driving late at night. My daughter strongly resists all of this, but to stay alive she has no choice but to listen to me. Because in the future world, humanity faces a strange disaster. Everyone mysteriously loses the ability to sleep. On the first day, insomnia begins. People do not yet realize how serious it is. At first, only sleeping pills become extremely expensive. But by the second day, even with money, the medicine is almost impossible to find. And even after taking the pills, we still cannot fall asleep. What feels even stranger is that patients who had been immobile for decades all begin to regain sensation. At the very beginning, I did not realize everyone was suffering from insomnia because my daughter could still sleep normally. So when my coworker learned about this, he immediately became interested and asked where my daughter was at that moment. In fact, there was also an elderly woman who could sleep, but she had already been confined in a research facility. The elderly woman had undergone countless experiments, so when I saw my coworker's curiosity, I quickly lied and said I remembered it wrong, then rushed home on my bike. The roads were filled with abandoned cars, as if signaling that something terrible was coming. I nervously pushed open the door, calling my daughter's name over and over. I did not want my daughter taken away for research.
Where's your sister? Where is your sister? You're hurting.
I soon learned from my son that she had just left for church with her grandmother. I did not dare waste any time and planned to head to the church with my son. But at that moment, my coworker appeared at the door. He urged me to send my daughter to the research facility, saying only by developing a cure could humanity be saved. I did not want to hear another word. I grabbed my bag and left immediately. By then, it was the third day of global insomnia. People were experiencing hallucinations from exhaustion, acting strangely in the streets. When we finally reached the church, we saw people trying to stop my daughter from leaving. My coworker tried to explain the situation, but a guard behind him lost control of his senses and fired in a moment of confusion. I seized the chance and escaped with my daughter, but at that moment my son urged me to stop running with his sister and to send her directly to the research institute, saying once the cure was made we would all survive. After hearing my son's words, my determination began to waver, so we decided to head toward the research facility. By the fifth day without sleep, many people had already lost their lives, but the thought of sending my daughter away still made me deeply uneasy. So I told my son to wait in the car, saying I would just pick up some books from the library. Then I began teaching my daughter how to fire the weapon. She was extremely scared and tense, but she could only follow my instructions. Just after I finished demonstrating a single shot, I suddenly saw my son standing ahead. He questioned why I had aimed in his direction. I was instantly terrified and confused. My son was supposed to be waiting in the car, so how could he appear here? It was clear that I had begun hallucinating as well. When we